Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 333 based on novel. So let's start. When the towering beam of light that protected the undead fire was broken and dissipated by the strong man in the compound, a circular entrance about several meters in size appeared on the flat ground in everyone's sight, and the entrance was filled with bursts of heart-pounding horrible warmth, quite similar to the so-called undead fire. Ha ha ha. The seal on the entrance of the undead fire has finally been broken. Rush. The undead fire is ours. As the fiery red beam of light was smashed by everyone, the fiery gazes of the powerhouses present and their roars directly spread over this wild ghost abyss. Most of these guys are mediocre in strength. They have a very small chance to touch the undead fire if they take the lead. 4-star fighting immortals have no fate. So I want to be one step ahead. The colorful Do-Chi energies are as numerous as the stars in the sky. After a while, many figures among the powerhouses in the field skyrocketed in speed and went directly to the entrance of the land of undying fire. Some of the weaker forces went one after the other towards the entrance of the space, but the other powerhouses, including the 5th Academy and some other powerful guys, all looked at the rather strange space entrance above the flat stands quietly. It's a pity that the good times didn't last long. Just as the other figures were about to step into the entrance of the space, the smiles on their faces instantly solidified, and strange voices emerged directly from the entrance of the space. Help! Save me! With the appearance of this scene, waves of ghosts and wailing emerged in the entire void, and even the guy who first went to the entrance of the holy flame was surrounded by grey waves on his body. The flame burns violently, the grey flame is like a of death, and anyone who is contaminated by it will burn the battle chi in the body and even the power of the soul, and the pain is unbearable. This undead fire is so strange. Seeing the people around him suffering so much pain, Xiao Yan looked vigilantly at the entrance to the land of holy flames. Although Xiao Yan had limited information about the undead fire, such a mysterious holy flame, Xiao Yan is the first time to meet. Immortal fire, known as immortality and immortality, but the records of it are quite rare. It looks like this. I am afraid that this holy flame has undergone some changes. If we are fortunate to enter the land of holy flame this time, I am afraid we can only outsmart it. I really don't know why a powerhouse of the level of the Lord of Li Soul would give up this precious flame. At the end of the sentence, Irene's figure involuntarily approached Xiao Yang's direction and whispered, "Hey, let's wait and go in." Xiao Yang heard the words and simply smiled. As for the reason why the Lord of Li Soul gave up the immortal fire, according to Xiao Yang's guess, it was probably to devour the lovesickness and use the immortal fire as a bait. It came out to attract the attention of other powerhouses. Of course, this was just Xiao Yang's guess. As for whether it was true or not, it was unknown. Yeah. Irene is not a woman with and no brains, she nodded lightly, because at this time, all the powerhouses, including the 5 major courtyards, had no intention of doing anything. Time is like a white horse passing through a gap, and a quarter of an hour passed slowly. During this quarter of an hour, except for the guy who couldn't bear it at the beginning and rashly entered and caused himself to be seriously injured, the other powerhouses waited quietly. They know that this entrance has the power of immortal fire, and this power is quite difficult for them to deal with, and with so many strong people, naturally no one will be willing to do more, so they wait together. It's almost there, let's go. At this time, Yu Xiao's pupils slowly opened, and he glanced at the entrance below. At this time, the power of the undead fire was extremely weak. As soon as the voice fell, Yu Xiao's whole body turned into an electric light, and he went directly towards the entrance of the undead fire with the momentum of thunder. Seeing this, he wanted to take the lead and take the undead fire as his own. Go. Witnessed by other powerhouses, they were surging. Naturally, they would not give Yu Xiao such a good opportunity. At the same time, this wild ghost abyss became extremely restless. As for the reason, it was because of the remains of the undying fire. The ground is fully opened. Let's go too. After entering, pay attention to those suspicious people in the crowd, if necessary. Xiao Yang whispered to Irene, and after speaking, his palms faced with a light comparison at his throat. As the controller of Saint Flame, it is naturally one of Xiao Yang's missions to obliterate the evil race from outside the realm, and now that the Soul Eater has left his side, everything can only rely on himself. And the most important thing is that the so-called extraterritorial evil clan knows how to restrain the holy flame. Xiao Yang wants to know this method thoroughly, so as to prevent it from happening. Boom. The crowds, which were as black as ant colonies, rushed into the ruins of the undead fire directly with a breath of force. If there are treasures like immortal fire, if they can be obtained by themselves, then their status will probably skyrocket. Buzz. The huge crowd, like a burst of light, easily passed the entrance of the Menghuang Guiyuan and entered the ruins of the undead fire. So far, this time the fight for the undead fire has started completely. Chiche's novels are first published on the whole network. This is Xiao Yang, and the two had just entered the large army, when bursts of fiery red flames filled their sights, but on top of the flames, it turned out to be Ling Xiao Yang. There is a feeling of trepidation. Xiao Yang does have two holy flames in his body, but due to the special nature of Ghost World powerhouses for Ghostface and Soul Flames, Xiao Yang planned to give Ghostface Soul Flames to his teacher, the Master of Soul Eaters, in order to help it completely broke through and entered that dream realm, so there was no fusion. Otherwise, the holy flame after Xiao Yang's fusion, among the same level, can be said to be a real hard-to-find opponent. But now, the Lord of Soul Eater obviously has other ways to enter the reincarnation. Xiao Yang can also relax and completely fuse the two holy flames. Two holy flames, one is Fireheart Tianyang ranked 35th, and the other is Ghostface Soulflame ranked 24th. The new holy flame born from the fusion of the two, Xiao Yang believes that it will not be better than the top ranking. 20 Saint Flame is weak, but compared to Undying Fire, it still seems to be a little worse. Submerged into the remains of the undead fire, bursts of fiery red flames flooded everyone's line of sight, and even pieces of fiery red mist filled the entire space. In this space, even the power of the soul temporarily failed. This makes many strong people quite afraid, but after a short period of fear, they also understand that it is not so simple to obtain something in the immortal fire ruins. It's just that they didn't know that when they were exploring the remains of the undead fire, a trace of creatures that could easily obliterate everyone was also approaching them, but this creature seemed to contain the original aura of the undead fire. Tongue smacking. And this special void that houses the holy flame of the undying fire has his own name, the Holy Tan of Undying. What a strange place of holy flame. Xiao Yang and Irene were back to back at this time, and their eyes spread out invariably. At this time, inside the Holy Tan of the Undying, the fiery red flame that covered the heart and the sun enveloped the bodies of the two, so that the two people's perception was completely dissipated. The ground, 10 meters away, is all white and hungry, and other than that, it is a piece of fiery red fog. In the depths of the fiery red fog, there seems to be some grey-white power. Those powers are like the real masters of this world, but they seem to be very close, but they are far apart. This should be the interior of the Holy Tan of the Undying. After scanning around, I didn't find anything. Irene clenched her silver teeth lightly and said to Xiao Yang, "There is only the fiery red flame contained here, making it as strong as a 4-star Dozian perfection level." Erin was uneasy. This place is indeed the place where the undead fire remains. I can smell a trace of its power, but we are probably very far away from its companion location now. Xiao Yang also shook his head. Even with Xiao Yang's current soul power, he couldn't detect anything. Even Xiao Yang realized that his perception seemed to be completely suppressed by this fiery red flame and mist. By the way, what is the Holy Tan of the Undying? Seeing Irene's beautiful eyes scanning around, Xiao Yang simply gave up activating his soul power and couldn't help but ask. The Holy Tan of the Undying is the place where the undying fire lives. It is said that the top 20 holy flames will have their own territorial space after birth. The Holy Tan of Immortality is more like a space carried by the undead fire, similar to a space ring. Here, it is the real master. Seeing this, Irene was a little puzzled. She obviously did not expect that Xiao Yang didn't know. "Hehe, Erina, do you know something?" The two of them stood silently at first. After blinking, Xiao Yang scratched his head and said. Before Erina let himself in, he followed her, and Xiao Yang immediately followed her. Trying to ask, "This guy is a disciple of the headmaster anyway. I am afraid he knows some things that are difficult for ordinary people to know. The Holy Tan of the Undying is extremely dangerous, but there are countless treasures of heaven and earth, ranging from martial arts and fighting skills to magical elixir, which are endlessly emerging. And because Zhangjiao Ari was fortunate enough to enter the Holy Talisman of the Undying before, so I know something." Irene heard the words, her face was slightly proud, her chest was raised, and she proudly said to Xiao Yang. "Headmaster Ari actually entered the Holy Tan of the Undying?" Xiao Yang heard the words, and a touch of shock emerged. Remember that the teacher said that in the Holy Tan of the Undying, besides undying fire, there seems to be a very terrifying guy. He told me to be more careful, but even he doesn't know what it is. Irene looked. Seeing Xiao Yang's surprised expression, he immediately pouted. In the Holy Tan of the Undying, these fogs are called the Undying Fog. This kind of fog cannot be removed, at least with the current power, it cannot be removed. So we can only go towards the interior of the holy tan of undying under the shroud of this fog. Irene said with a vigilant voice. This is not a holy tan, what kind of shape, or what kind of danger does it have? Xiao Yang also asked curiously after hearing Irene's serious tone. I don't know, but according to what the teacher told me, the holy tan of undying seems to be a circular space. If you don't find a suitable route here, I'm afraid you will be trapped here forever. Devour control and become a foggy corpse. Erin Zaidu said. Let me try. As soon as Irene finished speaking, Xiao Yang's body burst out with the aura of holy flame, and immediately wrapped the two around them. At that time, that strange fiery red flame was actually in Xiao Yang's way. Down, disappeared instantly, and the sight of the two became wider. Is it still only a few hundred meters? After a while, Xiao Yang slowly put away the power of the holy flame to prevent his breath from being exposed, and muttered. Originally, when the two entered here, their line of sight was only a few meters. Now, with the power of Xiao Yang Shenyang, they have expanded their field of vision to several hundred meters, which is a rather tyrannical method. Here, it seems to be a rather barren mountain forest. When her vision suddenly opened up, Irene's beautiful eyes turned slightly, and she had a panoramic view of the scenery around her. The place where the two were at this time was actually a deadwood forest, barren grey soil and stones, rotten dead wood, and the deadly silence, which filled the place with a strong atmosphere of danger, anxiety, and the emergence of hearts. Let's go to some precious places in the holy tan of the undying now, let's go. As she spoke, Irene moved slightly and ran directly towards a certain place in the gloomy forest. Obviously, for some precious places, there is no regarding Xiao Yang's remarks, but Xiao Yang did not ask any questions, but prepared to follow. Now let's wait slowly. After all, such treasures as undying fire will not be captured by other powerhouses so easily. Russell. Just when the two started to move, a harsh sound spread from not far away and poured directly into the ears of the two. What is this sound? Irene stopped and looked at the foggy area 100 meters away. Wong buzzing. At the same time, an extremely hot breath erupted from the undead leaves and undead sparrows within Xiao Yang's body. The source of this breath was a strange sound from a foggy area in the depths of 100 meters away. Damn it! Immediately after, in the mist that was 100 meters away, a light-hearted little girl ran fast and disappeared into Xiao Yang's line of sight. I saw that the girl was about 10 years old, with fluffy black hair. In the middle of the black hair, a middle seam divided the black hair in half along the head, but there seemed to be something vaguely hidden by the black hair between the eyebrows. In general, the clothes on the body are also tattered. At this time, the woman's face panicked and she ran hard, as if she was escaping from some creature. This is Earth Demon Bull, Xianshan Giant Tiger, and that Tianshan Wolf that is comparable to the powerhouses in the early stage of the 5-star Dozian. In the blink of an eye, behind the little girl, one after another surging spirit beasts roared at the little girl with a surging aura, and those among the soul beasts, in addition to the leading powerhouses, there are actually hundreds of powerful soul beasts behind them. Their eyes are fiery, staring at the little girl as if they were looking at the most delicious food. Eileen, do it. Save her. Xiao Yang pondered for a short while, adding the changes from the undead leaves in his body and so on, and said to Irene. Before now, Irene was standing still, her mouth opened slightly, and she said, "This little girl seems to be familiar." 4 fingers in the sky. Xiao Yang did not hesitate, and a terrifying offensive was brewing directly, because Xiao Yang knew that he was only in the middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortals, and most of these spirit beasts were stronger than him, and even more powerful. Needless to say, there are still a few of them are at the level of 5-star fighting immortals. If Xiao Yang keeps any hand, I am afraid that Xiao Yang himself will suffer. On the other hand, Irene stood quietly and stood still, as if looking at the little girl in the distance. A trace of memory flooded into her heart, but she couldn't remember who this guy was for a while. Boom! Xiao Yang's voice fell, and the ancient giant fingers filled with dazzling power filled Xiao Yang's body. In addition to the extremely terrifying fire attribute fighting chi in Xiao Yang's body, the attack power contained in the giant fingers, it's appalling. Humanity. This is none of your business. I advise you not to interfere in our business, otherwise. Seeing Xiao Yang suddenly making such a terrifying fluctuation, several leaders of the soul beasts raised their arrogant heads and glared at Xiao Yang. Although their strength is stronger than Xiao Yang, they are quite afraid of Xiao Yang's such a tyrannical blow. After all, flames have strong restraint on these guys, not to mention Xiao Yang's strong force with holy flames. This little girl, I must save it. Xiao Yang said with a firm look, not too lazy to talk nonsense with them. This guy is our food. If you insist on doing this, I'm afraid. Due to the terrifying attack on Xiao Yang's body, several leaders also maintained a trace of respect towards Zhen. That's none of my business. Xiao Yang ignored it, shrugged and smiled. The warning in his voice was very obvious. You're courting death. Hearing Xiao Yang's firm tone, several leaders glared at him, and a tyrannical aura spread throughout the forest. The second transformation of the dragon god, Longwei. Seeing this, Xiao Yang slammed his dazzling giant fingers towards it, but was easily blocked by it. Looking at this appearance, Xiao Yang's body disappeared after a while, and when dew appeared, a golden streak appeared. The giant dragon beat slowly, and the deafening terrifying roar spread out like a sound wave. Dragon! Run! Seeing Xiao Yang's sudden scene, the leading powerhouses cast a gloomy glance at the little girl who kept running away. Looking at the extremely realistic giant dragon in front of them, they immediately retreated without stopping. They know that even if their strength reaches the 5-star fighting immortal, they cannot compete with the dragon clan, because that is the absolute suppression above power. After the retreat of these spirit beasts one after another, the dragon body suddenly dissipated, and Xiao Yang's figure appeared, but there were also many beads of sweat on his forehead. It was obvious that he used this dragon like a blind trick. The second change requires a lot of Xiao Yang's strength. The second transformation of the dragon god only has a fatal suppression on the dragon clan, and the suppression of other races is not too great. Now this scene is completely beyond Xiao Yang's expectations, otherwise there will be a storm. Where's that little girl? After knocking the enemy back, Xiao Yang glanced away, only to find that the little girl who had just tried to escape had disappeared. Xiao Yang's current field of vision is only a few hundred meters away, and the entire distance of 100 meters is the fog of immortality. It is unknown what danger lies behind the fog, so Xiao Yang did not dare to step into it for a while. Xiao Yang, she is here. Xiao Yang became puzzled for a while, but a sweet voice sounded at Xiao Yang from behind him. Irene. Xiao Yang heard this and turned his head, but Irene's body was slightly bent, and her obscure eyes stared at Xiao Yang tentatively. It was the mysterious little girl just now, but this little girl seemed to be very afraid of Xiao Yang. She hid behind Irene tightly, and squinted at Xiao Yang from the corner of her eye. Her eyes were evasive. This guy. Seeing this, Xiao Yang couldn't help shaking his head and walked towards him with light steps, but he was quite puzzled by this little girl's appearance. Sister, bad guy. Seeing Xiao Yang approaching, the little girl's breathing became rapid, her little hands tightly squeezed the corner of Irene's clothes, and she looked at Xiao Yang solemnly. What's the matter? Xiao Yang was not ready to ask the little girl anything, and asked directly to Irene. This little girl has lost her memory. Irene lowered her head slightly and looked at the little girl in front of her with loving eyes. She said helplessly, when Xiao Yang was fighting the soul beast just now, Irene tried to negotiate with the little girl, but the girl kept shaking her head. Although the little girl's clothes are quite tattered, the lines on her body are extremely soft, and she is small and compact, and her skin is even more beigey, which naturally makes Erina like it. Amnesia. Xiao Yang heard the words, the boss with his mouth open in surprise. Such a plot. He was actually bumped into by himself. I originally thought that I could find some useful value from the little girl, but I didn't expect this girl to lose her memory. It shouldn't have let those spirit beasts go, it should know something. A burst of regret appeared in Xiao Yang's body. I seem to have seen records about this little girl in the teacher's notebooks before. Seeing Xiao Yang's surprised expression, Irene explained she must be related to the undying fire, right? Xiao Yang asked tentatively. According to some fluctuations in the immortal leaves just now, Xiao Yang was also able to guess. How do you know? Now it was Irene's turn to be surprised. The little girl's identity was mysterious. If she hadn't been lucky enough to remember some records, I'm afraid even she wouldn't know the details of this little girl. But even so, Irene was also I didn't completely remember the true identity of this little girl, but there was really a record in the teacher's notebook, and I couldn't remember it for a while. Hee. Xiao Yang said with a grin, although Irene's background is clear enough to make a real friendship, but these things like undead leaves are the most important part of Xiao Yang's fight for undead fire, and he can only pretend to be crazy and sell stupidly. This little girl has something to do with Sheng Yang, but I'm afraid I need to recall the specific things slowly. Seeing Xiao Yang pretending to be crazy, Irene didn't ask questions. These actions of Xiao Yang, Irene was the headmaster of the underground courtyard. The disciple, of course, knew Xiao Yang's careful thoughts and did not expose it. Chichi's novels are first published on the whole network. Little guy, what's your name? Can you tell my sister? After blinking, Irene squatted down slightly, Two dimples appeared on the corner of her mouth and asked with a smile. As for Xiao Yang, she was tens of meters away from the two, with a helpless expression on her face. Little Zhuama. The little girl looked at Irene, who was smiling, and her vigilance disappeared a lot, and she said to her, Little Dolma? Since this guy is related to undead fire, and there are two kinds of holy flames and undead leaves in my body, how can he be afraid of me? Is it because he noticed the aura of the two holy flames? Or, that Fenju that can devour Shengyang? At the end of the sentence, Xiao Yang also had a bold guess about the identity of this little girl. Little Zhuama, can you tell my sister, why did those big guys chase you? Irene asked hurriedly after seeing the little girl looking at Xiao Yang vigilantly. I have no idea. I just woke up, and they kept chasing and killing me. Little Zhuama ran and ran, but couldn't get out of the red fog, just when little Zhuama couldn't hold it anymore. Little Zhuama said slightly. Xiao Yang heard the words, his head full of black lines. It's okay, those bad guys have been driven away by the big brother, we will protect you. So big brother is not a bad person. Irene hugged little Zhuama, pointed her finger at Xiao Yang lightly, and said, It's not a bad person, but inside him. Hearing Erina say this, little Zhuama looked complicated and hesitated. Forget it, take her with you first, and wait for her memory to slowly recover. Also, I have to clean up the dirt on her body first, you are not allowed to peek. After a while, Erina protected little Dolma and walked behind a rather hidden shade of a tree. Obviously, getting rid of dirt is quite easy for a water-type powerhouse. These two guys. Seeing the appearance of the two, Xiao Yang couldn't help but be touched, and a figure named Xiao Xiao echoed in his mind. That Nizzy and Kaylin were carved out of the same mold, and I'm afraid they are also a lady now. It seems that after finishing the matter here as soon as possible, we will go back to the lower realm and bring them up, but the place is not settled yet, so we should wait. Xiao Yang muttered slowly. As for the lower realm, the Dochi continent, there is still a prosperous world at this time, but after Xiao Yang and the others have left for many years, there are also some Do-Di strong people coming out there, but they temporarily suppress the plane reception by virtue of their strength. After all, Xiao Yanwu, the life and death of a Do Emperor stepping through the void is unknown, and they naturally won't easily step out of the Dochi continent. Grumbling. It should be here. Those soul beasts that were tracked just now were actually dumped. I hope the target is not lost. After all, that little girl is an extremely important part of obtaining immortality. A strange breath permeated out. Who? Get out of here. Xiao Yang was still in a state of melancholy, but by instinct he smelled an extremely dangerous aura, and immediately frowned, staring at this space with a vigilant look. The middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortals? Hearing Xiao Yang's voice, the soil loosened, and a man with a gloomy complexion burst out of the ground with a very surprised tone. The aura on this guy's body is so weird. Seeing this, Xiao Yang's eyes became serious. Special ghosts tempt their souls, impermanence seeks their lives. In the next Mu Wushuang, the strange man clasped his hands and faced Xiao Yang. As soon as he finished speaking, his whole body was enveloped by a sinister black ghost. Soul body? Native inhabitants of the ghost world? Seeing such mysterious power, Xiao Yang was extremely shocked in his body. Since Xiao Yang entered the ghost world, he has always lived in a place where there are many humans, so he is quite weak against ghosts, and the power of ghosts far exceeds that of normal humans. Otherwise, the huge area of the ghost world will only have a false name. That's it. I don't have much effort to entangle with you, so, ghosts are bound. At that time, the ghosts and human bodies suddenly became illusory, and the black rays of light turned into ferocious and terrifying dim lights, roaring away at Xiao, and among those dim lights, there was unexpectedly filled with a terrifying light. Xiao Yang was quite afraid of the strange power. Moving the sky ruler, Xiao Yang didn't dare to have any contempt, and his eyes became serious. Bang bang bang. A series of explosions sounded. The seemingly fierce attack was transferred to another place by Xiao Yang. After the blink of an eye, a huge pit with a depth of tens of meters emerged, and even the edge of the giant pit, a trace of a faint light filled the air, and in these dim light, a touch of mysterious power permeated. What kind of power is this? Seeing this scene, Xiao Yang couldn't help muttering. This kind of spooky ghost energy was the first time Xiao Yang had seen since he entered the ghost world. I can't see you have a second chance. Pick me up. Ghost-eating soul. Seeing Xiao Yang easily evading his own attack, the gloomy man also showed slight surprise, but the more powerful attack in his hand appeared in an instant. Where is this guy sacred? These attacks of him seem to be directly attacking the power of the human soul, and they are still hard to prevent. Xiao Yang's body, the extremely hot flames spread out like ripples, and immediately asked in doubt. Yu Ming Tian trance. Seeing the gloomy man in front of him attacking like this, Xiao Yang's eyes closed, the soul power in his body suddenly squirmed, and countless powers in the spiritual layer were mobilized by Xiao Yang, and instantly filled out. Although imprisonment limits the perception of everyone, there is no limit to the power of the soul. Soul fighting skills? A trace of shock appeared on the illusory face of the gloomy man looking at Xiao Yang's blow. However, this level of attack is too weak for me. The gloomy man smiled slowly, and an extremely terrifying dim light suddenly condensed into a giant palm that was thousands of feet in size. On the palm of the hand, the extremely gloomy ghost energy, like the continuous flow of Daodao River water, is domineering. Chichi's novels are first published on the whole network. Boom. After a while, the two easily attacked together, and a circle of destruction ripples emerged from the center of the two's attack. The degree of tyranny of the forces was shocking enough. Kid, die. Before the battle wave dissipated, the gloomy man roared, and the more powerful wave attacked Xiao Yang. Curtain of Tianshui. The aftermath slowly spread, and a humming sound emerged from a distance. A sturdy water curtain, like a barrier, completely protected Xiao Yang. Immediately, the bodies of Irene and Xiao Zhuoma also emerged. It's just that little Dolma was dressed in an orderly manner by Irene, with her double ponytail and bangs covering her forehead, and she wore a rather small dress, which was quite beautiful. This little girl is indeed here, but the strength of these two guys, I'm afraid it's difficult to deal with it alone, so I'd better go back and report the news to the adults. The gloomy man looked at the three present. Looking at the dazzling water curtain barrier, he shook his head. He wants to run, stop him. Seeing this, Xiao Yang hurriedly shouted. With a sound, Xiao Yang and Irene's attacks landed directly on the ghostly aura, but in order to spread out a trace of strength to protect Xiao Zhuoma, the gloomy man immediately used the cover of the ghostly aura to leave here. After a while, the place returned to calm, and only Xiao Yang and the three were left. Sister, that guy just now is a bad guy. At this time, the little Zhuoma on the side, with eyes like agate, opened his mouth slightly, as if he was stimulated by it and remembered something. Why is this guy so mysterious? I'm afraid this trip to the undead Holy Tan will become quite dangerous. After struggling for a while, he still couldn't figure out the details of the guy just now. Xiao Yang could only helplessly shake his head. That guy's power is clearly a ghost, and he is a soul body. Naturally, a strong person of this level will not be in the soul palace of the Soul Clan, nor will it be an extraterritorial evil clan or sin. In this way, Xiao Yang was temporarily stumped. After all, Xiao Yang now only knows the forces of the Soul Palace, the Soul Clan, the Evil Clan and the Sinners, which are spread all over the place. The ghost on that guy is too gloomy and weird, even if it's the first time I've seen it. But the ghost on him, I'm afraid it's not simple. Irene on the side closed her eyes. Forget it, let's get down to business first. After a while, Xiao Yang shook his head and left these troublesome things behind for a while. Sister, I may know that guy. Seeing Xiao Yang and Irene's helpless, Xiao Zhuoma's delicate face like a porcelain, filled with a hint of vigilance, said immediately. You know? Xiao Yang couldn't help staring at this little guy after Xiao Zhuoma said that. According to Xiao Yang's perception of being temporarily sealed, this little guy doesn't seem to have any grudge, let alone any soul power. He is just a normal little girl, just because of the undead leaves in his body, etc. Xiao Yang did not rashly ask about the change, so Xiao Yang was naturally surprised when this little guy opened his mouth. That guy just now is a bad guy. They want to the treasures in this forest. After a while, the little girl angrily clenched her pink fists and scolded her with her hips on her hips. This little guy. Hearing Xiao Zhuoma's words, both Xiao Yang and Irene nodded involuntarily. Little Zhuoma, can you take us to that place? After blinking, Irene and Xiao Yang looked at each other, and Irene continued. Surprisingly, this time, little Dolma didn't have any refusal, and slowly agreed. Immediately, her little hand tightly clasped Erin's palm and walked towards the mist. Let's go. Erin and the two walked in front, and did not forget to turn around and asked Xiao Yang. It seems that this battle for the undead fire will also become interesting. Xiao Yang's voice just fell, and suddenly the shadow shone with a trace of flame light suddenly wriggled slowly like a demon, following Xiao Yang, but the shadow there is an indescribable destructive power in it, and that thing is probably Xiao Yang's fire guard ruler. The smells and sounds of birds and flowers came out continuously, and the figures of Xiao Yang and the others also appeared here slowly. Here, is it? Xiao Yang frowned as he looked at the white curtain of light in front of him, because the scent and sound of birds and flowers were clearly coming from within, but these people were hesitant now. There are treasures in it. A lot of bad people will come to it. Big brother and big sister, you promised Zhuoma to protect it. Is it all right? After coming here, Xiao Zhuoma's expression suddenly burst into tears, and she said to Xiao Yang, "We promise you." Looking at the little Dolma who looked like this, Irene agreed. "Thank you." Just after the voice finished, Xiao Zhuoma's palm swayed slightly, and in a blink of an eye, he touched the white light in front of him. Bang bang bang! Suddenly, a deafening sound emerged like the sound of thunder, and Xiao Yang's three figures were also sucked away by an extremely tyrannical suction. This is. After a few minutes, the three of them entered an unfamiliar place through the mysterious passage. The place where several people are located is clearly a forest with dense vegetation, but next to the forest, shocking fluctuations permeate the scene. This is Glacia Tenha. At the same time, the always quiet Irene shrank tightly and lost her voice. Someone's here. Xiao Yang didn't have time to ask, so he could only use his tyrannical strength to swept the two girls away from some rocks next to the forest. Damn. This Glacia Tenha is really weird. It's been so many days, why haven't we found a way to enter the bottom of the Tenha? How can this be good? Just after Xiao Yang and the three of them were hidden, several men with anxious eyes slowly passed by in front of the three of them. Irene was very cooperative, gently hugging the puzzled little Dolma, her fingers gently comparing her to a gesture of not speaking. Glacia Tenha. According to the teacher's record, this is a holy place near the undead fire. At the bottom of the Tenha River, it is said that there are extremely precious treasures. As for what it is, even the teacher does not know. But that kind of treasure may have something to do with the immortal fire. Irene explained to Xiao Yang after the figure was far away. It's really a curious sight. Xiao Yang said with a slight smile. Where the three were at this time, they were still in the holy tan of the undead. The immortal holy tan gave them the feeling that they were like green leaves wrapped in layers. At first, they were in the outermost layer, and now they have entered the inner layer. As for how to enter the innermost layer, I am afraid it is unknown. The two of you are quiet and wait here, I'll go take a look. Xiao Yang looked at the forces around the Glacia Tenha, frowned and said with a smile. You. There are so many strong people here, how did you get there? Seeing this, Eileen wondered. After all, there are no hidden martial arts fighting skills in the fire attribute, hidden scout-like actions, or some shadow-type darkness. Department of Strong do quite well. Wong buzzing. Before Irene finished speaking, Xiao Yang's body merged directly into the shadow behind him, and immediately turned into tiny scratches that were imperceptible to the naked eye, heading towards the glacial Tenha. This guy is really a pervert. Seeing Xiao Yang's appearance, Irene couldn't help rolling her eyes, but this kind of action was discovered by Xiao Yang after he mastered the Master of Fireguard, and he was able to control his own aura. It is temporarily hidden in the shadow of Phobos, so it is quite easy to do some spying tasks. However, the only shortcoming of this method is that once it gets close to the light-type powerhouse, it will appear in an instant, and other attributes do not need to be too worried. In this way, Xiao Yang merged with the Lord of Fireguard and followed the Lord of Fireguard towards the ice surface where many forces gathered. The so-called Fireguard Master is naturally the shadow of Xiao Yang. It does not have too much tyrannical power, but it will look for the opportunity to strike a fatal blow in the gaps of the battle. After being injected with fire attribute power by Xiao Yang, it is enough to cast a fatal blow at a critical time. That one blow, is enough to reverse the real battle situation. Xiao Yang is just taking advantage of it now. This video will end here.